You know, around the holidays we tend to associate with feelings of joy and laughter. But what if you grew up somewhere where it meant you had to fear for your life? Or more specifically, a demon that would take you away to hell for being naughty. Well, in several European countries, such a demon exists, and his name is the Krampus. Now, the Krampus has been around for quite a long time. How long? Well, it's estimated that the Krampus appeared between the 11th and 13th century. It took origin from Norse mythology. It was once believed that the Krampus was actually the son of Hel, the ruler of the Norse underworld. Krampus begun in southern Germany and Austria, however moved to other European countries such as Switzerland, Czech Republic, Hungary, and even the Alp villages of Italy. His name derived from the Old High German word, Krampen, meaning claw. It was a way to describe him as a beast-like creature. His appearance is one of a demon, with dark matted fur, cloven hooves, and large horns. His tongue long and pointed, his teeth sharp fangs. He carries around bells, bundles of birch branches, and a wicker basket too. In the 17th century, Krampus was no longer thought to be a pagan tradition, but was adapted into Christian celebrations, and as a result, was given the attribute of carrying chains to simplify the devil being binded by the church. Now you must understand that in certain parts of Germany and Austria, St. Nicholas is still celebrated separate from Christmas on December 6th, which they call Nikolaustag, or St. Nicholas Day. Now to further the connection, Krampus was given his own night on December 5th, which they call Krampusnacht, or Krampus Night. On this day, men dress up in goat and sheep skins, an elaborate homemade mask. They walk throughout the villages, searching for homes with children, to scare the kids with their homemade costumes while swinging around switches and ringing loud cowbells. And in some homes, they even invite you in for a drink afterwards. Now the legend goes that on this evening of Krampus night, children would place their shoes on the windowsill. While they sleep, Santa Claus and Krampus would visit their home. If they've been good, well then Santa Claus leaves them treats and candy. But if they've been bad, Krampus sneaks into their room and beats them with a birch stick. Oh, and if they've been really bad, well then he puts them into his basket and carries them away to the underworld. Now that's pretty intense for a children's legend, but what if the Krampus was not as bad as he seemed? Now, hear me out. I would never condone the kidnapping and eternal damnation of children by any means, but it would seem as if the original idea of the Krampus was not one of him being the Christmas villain or the anti-Santa, oh no, but rather him being Santa's partner. It is said that Krampus and St. Nicholas actually ride in the sleigh together. Santa would reward the good children, while Krampus would punish the rebellious. Krampus would work alongside St. Nick to ensure that good would prevail by getting rid of the unruly children. Now, granted that Krampus's methods were much more severe, St. Nicholas was a saint and couldn't deal with the rebellious and unruly. So basically, Krampus and Santa were your classic case of good cop, bad cop. Now, I won't lie, the more I learned about the Krampus myself, the more I became completely shocked with the fact that these people were really like scaring kids. But that's okay, I can respect different cultures, because maybe that's just the way things are there. Because they really like celebrating the Krampus. Who is a demon, by the way. In the late 19th century, Europeans began exchanging greeting cards featuring the Krampus. They would feature artwork of the Krampus, and usually said things like, "Greetings from Krampus," or "Gruß vom Krampus." In the artwork of the cards, it would usually show the Krampus standing over children, and some even contained sexual overtones, with Krampus scaring a good-looking half-dressed woman. And then there's the Krampusloft, which is sort of a Krampus-run celebration. The men dress up as Krampus and run through the streets. They usually involve a lot of schnapps, an alcoholic drink, which tends to cause some men to get a little out of control and even attack or harass young women. A lot of men say it's a proud thing that they keep the Krampus tradition alive and that it's for the kids. But a lot of other people disagree. A couple of people identify with Krampus trauma, where the events of the Krampusloft has left some children completely scarred from the experience. One kid on an Austrian youth radio station shared this: "Krampus scared me when I was 7. I panicked that I was never going to see my father again because of a hoofed human wanted to throw me into his wooden backpack." Some people go as far to say that they've seen a real Krampus. One boy from Germany claims that every year he met the Krampus with his siblings, and that he would line them up and ask them questions about how good or bad they've been all year. Another family in Massachusetts claims that their daughter was playing with a Ouija board, and afterwards, their home was constantly terrified by a Krampus. However, the paranormal investigator that reported the case believes it was just a ghost impersonating a Krampus. Perhaps Krampus trauma contributed to the periods where certain groups of people wanted to do away with the celebration of the Krampus. During the Inquisitions between the 12th and the 19th century, impersonating a devil was considered punishable by death, which constantly caused the Catholic Church to work towards doing away with the celebration of the Krampus. Then again in 1934, the Austrian government tried to put a ban on the Krampus, claiming that he was a work of socialist Democrats. Now, as you might know, Krampus is making his way into American culture, with Krampus festivals across the country in cities like LA, Philadelphia, and New York. Today, we see Krampus parties and club nights in December, where people dress up in their old Halloween costumes. Krampus is even making his way into the media, with shows like Grimm, American Dad, and most recently his own movie, Krampus. Now first off, I have to go ahead and say this, and I'm not big on shaming movies, especially when I know how hard it is to make one. However, the Krampus movie to me was just not good. I won't say any spoilers, but the movie highly morphed the original legend of the Krampus, added in their own really cheesy lore, and had one of the most uncreative, boring endings I've ever seen. Which sucks, because I was really excited to see it, especially since Adam Scott was in it. I think I was hoping for him to play a similar role as Ben Wyatt from Parks and Rec. God, I love that show, which he was pretty close to in the movie. But anyway, the point is, it kind of bothers me that when Hollywood has a chance to make an awesome movie about a really cool legend, they would rather it appeal to more cliche-minded Americans by changing some stuff and attempt to make more money. Maybe I should work on my own Krampus movie for next Christmas, where the kid from Jurassic World has to convince his now Uncle Chris Pratt to hide for their lives as the Krampus shows up and tries kidnapping him. Then you find out it's the kid's fault for playing with some kind of dark Ouija board magic, and then Chris tries fighting the Krampus, but ends with him obviously being defeated by a demon, and actually shows the kid being put into a basket, like the legend says, and taken to hell. And we can leave it on a dark, unhappy ending, because sometimes that's what happens in life, kids. Deal with it. Now, the Krampus may not be given the full credit in American culture yet, but maybe that's because we're people who prefer happy endings and gifts we're gonna get. Sorry, Europe. Guess we're just too selfish for you. We'll keep on celebrating winter the way we always do. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like. Merry Krampus to all, and to all the good fright.